Oh, fuck. This is Stirring the Pot with Don Kincaid. And, oh my God, my very special guests, if you will. I've already popped my spleen, a kidney, and 3 ribs before we've started this damn thing. This is Stirring the Pot with Don Kincaid. And my very special guests, we have the Frost Force. We're not collective, but we have some of the Frost Force here with us tonight. Let's welcome in Jackie G. Why I'm laughing, who's doing this from a fucking bathtub. Are you shitting me right now? We've got Jackie G. Welcome to the show in the bathtub, my man.
Hi, I promise y'all I'm not naked, I promise.
Okay, you know, if you are from the waist down, that's okay. But as long as we see from the waist up, my man,
that's an OnlyFans exclusive.
you're golden. Yeah, $4.99 for Jackie G. OnlyFans. And also we have Simon, Sideways Simon, and Backwards Billy. What's going on, guys?
Yeah, nothing much. How you doing, Don?
What's up, Don?
Well, I'm gonna need immediate surgery, but I'm sure we're gonna chit chat for at least all of an hour. So I may die during this. I've lost my spleen, I've lost my kidney, and I've got 3 fractured ribs from laughing. Jackie G, let's just let's just start right there. Boys or girls, when we say we pull back the curtain, I'm just going to pull back the curtain. We were trying to get everybody on the same page within the room. And I think everybody, if I'm not mistaken, is in the same household here. And we started chit-chatting a little bit, and every single person's voice started echoing, and it was kind of wild. So the remedy, Backwards Billy, took a few steps back and hung out with Sideways Simon on the same feed, and Jackie G ended up in the fucking bathtub. Boys or girls, besides a portable sauna, when we did STP with Donovan, the future, and a portable sauna, this yet is another first right here on STP. We're gonna have some fun. We're talking Frost Force. That's why we're all here. We're talking Ryan Frost, the man that's brought us all together. And it's not just us 4 guys right here. There's a few more out there. The minions are strong, if you will. So I got to stop laughing. I got to stop snickering. Jackie G, why don't you take over and talk to us, the fans, because boys and girls, if you do not know, and you should know by now, especially through me and the likes of Jackie G and company, talk to us about the birth of Frost Force. And then at one point, we all collectively got that beautiful little picture, and I think we all made it our cover photo. But talk to us about the birth of the Frost Force and what it meant to you guys as a collective, because you come out in droves and you really support one Ryan Frost.
Yes, sir. And before I get going, I'm just going to say, if it looks like it's all steamy and foggy in this bathroom, I apologize.
Stop.
So, it's real funny and it's real crazy because we all came to Test Strength Wrestling, obviously, as supporters of the Stepdads, obviously. And that's the true birth of all this. We were fans of the Stepdads. That's what drew us to Test of Strength Wrestling, along with Amazing Pro Wrestling. And, we were behind the Stepdads. And to be fair, we despised Cold Cash with a passion due to their hatred of the Stepdads at the time. And I think it was, I'm trying to remember the name. I think it was Undeniable, I believe. Yep. Right? 2021?
Yep. The stepladder match. The first ever.
The first ever stepladder match. And the crazy thing about that was, we were behind the Stepdads 1,000%. Simon, unfortunately, he couldn't make it to that one. It is what it is. Sometimes real life gets in the way.
Can't make them all.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, me and Billy make a lot of them. But what happens is we go to the show. We're cheering for the Stepdads and everything's going nuts. We're like nonstop. And the long-standing rumor of Don Kincaid saying they're not okay showed up to be the absolute thing, because after the stepdads beat Cold Cash, they really weren't okay. And Frost tried to let it go like a true warrior he is. And TJ Howell III decided to attack Frost with his own kendo stick. And all of a sudden, we went from booing the crap out of Cold Cash to literally getting behind Ryan Frost. And it just became organic. Like, it was like an organic I'm trying to think of the word, organic love for Ryan Frost. Because then, this man, during that stepladder match, no joke, we were booing the hell out of Cold Cash. Frost was fighting with all his heart. And I think that's something we were able to get behind, even though, because it was getting kind of hard to hate Frost during that match. I'm not going to lie.
Well, building up to that, the little snide remarks from one TJ Howell III and the promos building up to this, if you will. I mean, he was talking down to the big man, and Ryan Frost, he's a big dude. TJ, I mean, he's a big dude in his own right, but Ryan Frost, much bigger than one said TJ Howell III. And he was kind of giving him some lip, and you could feel it culminate and culminate and culminate. And I kept saying it, and they kept yelling at me about it, they being Cold Cash. But we saw it right in front of our very own eyes. Billy, you were there, my man, when all of that unfolded during the stepladder match. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Hit us with some of your insight of when we were seeing that live as fans and seeing it all transition. Now, boys and girls, this is what we talk about in wrestling. Stories, storytelling. And we were immersed into everything that Test of Strength was giving us with Cold Cash, the stepladder, and the stepdads. I'm sorry, Billy, go ahead.
It's okay. For me personally, I had no idea that in the same show we'd be booing and then cheering for the same wrestler. That does not happen all the time. It's very, very rare when you really think about it. It's like oh my God, this guy just made us love him so quickly. It takes real talent to do that.
And as Jackie G said, Billy, organically, it just happened like that because of the storytelling. We got caught up in what the hell was going on. We knew Cold Cash wasn't, well, some of us knew Cold Cash wasn't okay. And son of a bitch, long and behold, they were not okay. We got caught up right into that storytelling that, the promotion hosting it, Test of Strength, was giving us. So the characters and the storytelling after this historic stepladder match being the wrestling. Those are the three things that I talk about on STP the most. Storytelling, some good in-ring, and give us some good characters. And we got all of that within this story. And we all got caught up in it instantly, like you said, Billy. Simon, you were not there, but I know you see the footage between myself and Fogman. And, I'm sure you hear the chatter with the rest of the Frost Force and all of that. Right. You must have been like, what the hell is going on in this universe right now?
Yeah. That threw me off when Joe had told me the story about Ryan Frost went from a heel to a face.
I'm sorry. I just think, I'm sorry, but every time, because I remember at that time, I told Simon that, he's like, wait a minute, the guy that wiped his ass with my sign at the Halloween show, now all of a sudden we're cheering him. What's going on right here?
Yeah, really. He literally took my sign and wiped his ass with it. And then the last show at what was it, 2TW? Mm-hmm. We went and Joe's like, you should really go up to Frost and tell him that I got a bone to pick with you. And then I did. I went up to him and I said, listen, Frost, I got a bone to pick with you. He's like, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, you wiped your ass with my sign at that last TOS strength show. He's like, that was you? I'm like, yeah, that was me, not Joe. So Joe don't get credit for that.
But for the longest time, the long-standing thing was the mistake is that I think Frost, for some reason, thought it was my sign that he did it with, but it was actually Simon's sign. And then he grabbed his the Simon's sign, he smacked it with his kendo stick, and he wiped his ass with it.
Yeah. He thought it was toilet paper.
That was at a Halloween Throwdown 2, I'm almost certain of, at Riders, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it was.
Hey, Riders.
Let's kind of stick on that topic. I want to talk about that stepladder match first before we go too far. Again, historic, but it's got the stepdads in this. And like you said earlier, Joey G, this is why you guys were literally coming to Tests of Strength. You were a fan base of the stepdads that have followed these guys to going to a different promotion that they haven't been to and you guys haven't been to. And it kind of culminated into something magical over these past couple years, I want to say, because you're recurring fans, you're taking notice to the other talent, you're making other signs, you're pissing off Dan the Man, which is so near and dear to my heart.
All about the fraud.
It's all about the Frost Force.
Yeah.
Not the mission.
I love how all of that came about too. But
that one way.
that stepladder match, you kind of envision, all right, you've got these guys, there's 4 dudes, they're going to incorporate a stepladder into a match. How in the hell are they going to do this and do it so it just doesn't come off so beyond goofy that it's like, why are you wasting the fans' time? Okay? Because, I mean, let's be honest. It does sound fun, but it sounds like, what the fuck are they going to do? How are they going to actually pull this off? Is there any time before this event, before that match, that you guys were thinking, how the hell are they going to pull this off? Joey G, I'm going to start with you.
Yeah. So, funniest thing is, I hear about the step ladder match, and my first idea is like, I'm thinking, oh, it's going to be like a step ladder match, and the general idea with ladder matches is that there's something hanging in the ring. So I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, what the hell's going to hang in the ring, and where are they going to do this show? And at that point, we only knew of Test of Strength Wrestling being at Ryder's Smokehouse. So we didn't know. We thought it was going to be at Ryder's Smokehouse, and we were already just like, Jesus Christ. The last time we were at Ryder's Smokehouse, Alec Price knocked down a ceiling fan. How small is that going to be? What are they going to be able to hang up there? So, we're sitting there, and we're hearing step ladder matches. So we're like, how's this going to work? So when we got the stipulation that the step ladders will be the only thing that's legal, we're like, oh, okay. So it's one of those like stipulation matches where like the step ladder is it's legal. You can use that in the match, but anything else you can't use in the match. And obviously, I saw the promos from both sides. You saw the one promo from Gold Cash, and then you saw the one promo from the Stepdads. And I'm not gonna lie, the Stepdads promo had me dying because I was having a hard time taking it seriously because they're referencing like all these like WWE and WCW video games from the Nintendo 64. It was just saying, we're going to show you revenge like WCW NWO World Tour, and we're going to show you no mercy like WWF WrestleMania 2000. And I'm like, bro, you guys are doing one of the most serious promos in the world, and I can't take it seriously with the amount of N64 references. And next thing I know, I'm like, well, let's see how this goes. We get to the and I have all the love in the world for the Stepdads. Obviously, Kelsey doesn't, but we'll get into that to another point. But so I was like, okay, well, let's see how hard they can go, because I've heard rumors that the Stepdads can go really hard when it comes time to get really, really serious. Like when the heat is really turned up, like when they crank the thermostat. Point blank, we get to the show, and I remember this. Me and Billy get to the show with Michael Herdman, Mike Swicky, and my brother Frankie. We show up, and we're standing outside. We're doing the usual Don Kincaid thing. And in the midst of hanging outside, stepdads show up. They walk right through. They like, dude, they were all seriousness. They like ran right past us, and we popped like you were watching WWF in the Attitude Era with The Rock showing up backstage, man. Like, we got so hyped just seeing them walk through. They were all business. They were ready to go. So, and then the minute the show started, opening contest, they're starting up the show, and sometimes that's when the crowd's at the hottest at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Crowd starts up, Cold Cash comes out, lots of booze, lots of everything. The front row is lined up with Cold Cash is not okay signs. Dads come out to one of the loudest pops I've ever heard in the Columbia Club, and then they just go right at it. There was like no jokes, no nothing. They're just going all out, and the match from beginning to end was just electric. And the crazy part is you had like the Stepdad squad, us on one side going crazy. Then you had, I don't know how to say it, like they had like a Cold Cash fan club on the other side, because there's a bunch of people cheering for Cold Cash, right? And I know it traumatized you, Don, because they forced you to put on that Cold Cash shirt.
I hated it.
I know. And the match was just hard, going back and forth the whole time. And what I liked the most, like, Rat Dad was not going down. Like, there was nothing. And I remember him even saying there was not a single thing making him stay down for that match. And that was, I think, what made that match so good. And then when they finally got that pinfall, crowd went nuts. I don't think the Cold Cash side did, but the crowd went nuts. And then Stepdads leave. Cold Cash in the ring, and all you hear around the crowd is not okay, not okay, not okay. And you think there's going to be a fight between these two. Frost goes in, hugs Aubrey, hugs TJ Hal III. Frost turns around. Hal grabs the kendo stick. Boom. Kendo stick shot to the back of Ryan Frost. All of a sudden, the crowd just gasps. You hear crybaby chants from the guys who were cheering for Cold Cash. And, all you got from us was a TJ Sucks chant. All of a sudden, Stepdads come flying out the curtain. Red Dad with a golf club, for crying out loud. And TJ just leaves like the chicken he was. Frost turns around, looks like he's a little iffy with the Stepdads. He puts out a fist. They don't acknowledge it. Brad Dad puts his hand out for a nice firm handshake, like the Stepdads usually do. Handshakes all around. Stepdads get a huge pop as the handshakes happen. Stepdad leaves, then the whole arena starts chanting Ryan Frost, Ryan Frost, and it's just getting louder and louder. Here you had two sides of this building. At one point, we're like literally arguing. The fans were literally going at it with each other over Stepdads versus Cold Cash, and now they're all united over Ryan Frost at this point. And Frost had that look of, what? We went from booing the hell out of him to literally getting behind him. And then organically, it just was just natural. Felt natural.
Boys and girls, Jackie G really, from front to back, painted a picture of that stepladder match so beautifully, very visual with the description, Jackie G. So thank you for that so much. I really appreciate that. And I know you weren't there live, Simon, but just painting that picture, it gives me the goosey bumps, if you will, because it's just like things change in wrestling without you knowing it. They just happen like that because of the word, again, organically. And I know we use that a lot around here on SCP, but with the fans and the wrestlers, that's kind of an all-around universal good word to use when things happen like that. Being a fan of the Stepdads and all of that, and then you hearing about the news later, what does that do to you as a Stepdads fan? Now you're kind of torn. Do I jump on board with the Frost thing going on? Like, I was just booing the piss out of this guy not that long ago. Was it a hard transition for you to start cheering for one Ryan Frost?
No, actually, it was kind of easy, but I think it was more when I don't know. It's hard to explain really because you're booing someone and then you're going to cheering and basically you just don't know what to do,
Hmm.
you know, but
That's that roller
but the
coaster that we go on.
stepdads were like role models of being a fan all the time, and where Frost was like a heel and just like put a lot of heat out there, and you're like, what what just happened? Do you know? It kind of puts you speechless, kind of sense, if you know what I mean.
No, absolutely, because I've been around Tesla Strength for a while, and seeing that personally totally blew my mind. Obviously, with along with a lot of the other fans. Billy, you were there live, and we talk about these emotional roller coasters that wrestling takes us on as fans when we're at these events. And we're going to get to the most recent one. We're definitely going to be building up to that. But taking us on that ride with that stepladder match, and you were there as well, my friend, you know, with your Goombas and stuff. Talk to us about as a fan, especially about, you know, like Simon was just saying, we were just booing this some bitch like about 10-15 minutes ago, and now we're raising him up and we're chanting Ryan Frost, Ryan Frost. What the hell? Talk to us about that as a fan.
Huh, oh man, how do I explain this?
Excuse me.
Yeah, like Simon said, it just we do speechless. Yeah, yeah, it's all like holy cow, we were just booing the hell out of this guy,
Mm-hmm.
and then the next thing you know, no, you hear all sorts of Ryan Frost chants, and for me personally, I was thinking, wait a minute, we were just booing this guy, now we're cheering him. What the hell?
Uh,
It's like yeah, it took me a minute to process what the hell was going on, because I'm still in the booing mindset, and then and I'm looking all around me, and I'm like, everyone's cheering him now. So hey, this guy is really loved now. I gotta join in. I'm a fan, and and I was just starting becoming a wrestling fan in general. So at the time, I was still learning the wrestling ropes, if you will. So yeah. So yeah, it's like it just that night taught me to always expect the unexpected.
in wrestling, you know what, Billy? That's what we might call this episode right here. Expect the unexpected. I think that's a very fantastic title. I want to bring someone in before bedtime, though. You can hear him, but he's not going to be able to hear you guys. But you can say stuff, and I'll kind of relate. We're just going to take a couple seconds. Look at Big Jacob P. He's giant, Jacob P. right now.
Wow.
Jackie G and Billy and Simon, right?
Yeah.
I remember you from the first Tough and Talented show. You were so much smaller. Holy cow, dude. You have gotten.
Joey was saying you gotten so big since the first Tough and Talented show. You're a giant person right now.
I know.
I did hoodie, you know?
Well, it is bedtime, and he's all decked out in his Pikachu gear, his Pikachu merch, if you will. We're in our Frost merch. We all got our Frost merch on. See?
See?
Yeah.
I've got my Pikachu.
We're doing the Frost Force. See? Bam, bam, bam. He's got the undeniable Frost shirt right there. Yeah.
Apparently, I'm sure, but it's Ryan Frost, so it don't matter.
Leave it on. Look at this.
Here I
Oh,
was
wow.
sitting there telling everybody your Ryan Frost stuff, and then I'm the one who forgets to bring the Frost Force shirt, of course. You know?
Well, good night, Jacob P.
Good night.
We love you.
Love you too.
Ben, you're killing the
Night.
set. Don't worry about it. Don't touch it. No, don't touch it.
Good night,
It's okay. They said good night, Jacob. Come over here. They said good night, Jacob.
Good night, Jacob.
Bud.
All right, hey, be careful. No, just leave it alone, please. I'll fix it. Jacob, please. No, I'll get it because it's not. Thank you, my man. I appreciate it.
Bye.
Love you.
Love you too.
Good night.
Good night.
Sorry about the interruption. Bedtime is bedtime, you know.
It's all good.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, Billy, you haven't really been around independent wrestling very long, and I know Joe. We've talked to Joey G a bunch of times about that specific subject, but you came in later. So, how long have you been a wrestling fan around independent wrestling at this point?
2019, 20, about 5 years.
All right, and your cohort over here, Jackie G, he brings you to all sorts of different places. You do drive. You are the driver of the posse, right? Is that correct, Jackie G?
Sometimes I am. Sometimes I am. Most of the time lately. So here's the funny thing. At the beginning, we've always had like a rotation thing here. Like I do drive, but I don't drive to every show because my car wouldn't fit everybody in the car at times. So when we got bigger, like sometimes it'll be Michael Herdman. Sometimes I want to give Michael Herdman a break, so I drive. So that's just how it goes. 2TW, of course, I snagged a ride with Kelsey down for that show to give me a break. So we try to like rotate the driving thing.
Oh, well, that's cool because I always wanted, I don't want to have my dad drive a whole lot, especially in the evenings, But he
I
didn't
hear you.
mind. We would
All
go
right.
to Rhode Island, and again, we would swap on and off, and we were going to Rhode Island an awful lot for a while there. And plus, we were going to I was doing like 15 shows a month, easily 15 shows,
Wow.
and it was getting pretty wild for a few a few months there. But at this point, Billy, you found yourself as a fan. You jump in and you buy the merch and you support not only the talent, but the promotions being a test of strength and the 2TWs and such. You're finding yourself to really enjoy your fandom as an independent wrestling fan right now, it seems, because you've you've also started doing some back and forth, and we're going to jump into this right now. We might as well because we're talking to Backwards Billy. You've jumped into a little something. We all get into something with somebody sooner or later. And Backwards Billy, you find yourself with Edric Cash and Fly Night. It started with Fly Night, but it's kind of traveled to both one Fly Night and Edric Cash. Though I know about those two enough, but you find yourself in a mix with these two guys, not only on the old face page, but at the live events as well. Talk to us about what the hell is going on with Backwards Billy and Paid in Full, collectively being Fine Noriega and Edric Cash, please.
I still don't know how this all started myself, Don. So this is still hysterical myself. Like I don't know what.
Yeah, it's. I really don't know how it even started. It just started with me just booing the crap out of him, and the next thing I know, I'm friends with him on Facebook, and we just started going at it on Facebook, and it just all of a sudden turned it to this rivalry. And the next thing I know, Edward Cash comes into a nest. It's like, oh, these guys are tag teaming me now. Oh boy, boy, me versus these two guys. This is very interesting. So, yeah, I just find it very hilarious. I just love using Friday Night's bozo thing against him because because he loves to call everybody bozo, but honestly, if he really wants to see a bozo, he really should look in the mirror because he's the only bozo I see.
Okay, we can agree on that. Tell the fans, because there were there were gifts showered to one backwards Billy from one fly night, at least one, a couple, if I'm not mistaken. Could you
Yes.
please share with us what gifts you've received from Fly Night Noriega, please?
Oh,
Look at
boy.
Jackie G.
God. I can remember all, actually. I remember all the gifts, but I'll let Billy do it.
Oh boy, it started out with deodorant, and then soap, and then a toothbrush and toothpaste. Which even funnier is that particular day when he gave me that. Right now, yeah, we were on our way outside. We were on our way out, and me and Fire were just going back and forth as usual. And I hold up what he gave me, and there was a trash can right next to me, and I'm like, Fly, this is what I did think of your gift and you, or something like that.
Yes.
I know I said something to that effect.
Yes.
So,
Yes. One for
I'm
Billy.
sorry, Bill.
Yes.
I don't mean to cut you off, Billy, but Don, I'm so upset that you didn't get to see that. But Billy and Fly Nye, Billy was going at it with Fly Nye in the hallway of the dojo for literally a good 15 minutes. And he was just jaw jacking with him nonstop. And I'm just sitting there. I'm just like, and wow, I was like, we're never going to get to go to Taco Bell now, are we? And he just on and on and on and on. Billy just not stopping. I never saw this much energy come out of him because I think my voice was already shot, and I think this was like the week after Real Recognize Heel.
Okay.
And my voice was already half shot as it was. And Billy's just going now. He's like, yeah, well, you and then Billy's just like Fly and I says something to him. Fly and I calls Billy a bozo. Billy says something back. Fly and I says something back to him. Billy says something back. And meanwhile, you got people walking through the hallways leaving, you know. You got, I swear to God, I don't know if it was like Jay Bricks or Richard Stone walks through, and they're so confused on why Billy and Fly are still going at it in the hallway and everything. Wait a minute.
What?
No
we
way.
can't. We can't see you. We can't hear you. We can't see you. We can't hear you.
Oh my God. Get out of here.
Yes! Yes!
End of the hour right here.
Hard, yes.
Yeah, Frost.
I am actually in a bathroom right now, so that's not even
Can you hear me?
a joke. Yes, I
Yes.
can hear you.
Yes, Mr. Ryan Frost, thank you for joining STP with the Frost Force. Thank you.
Yo, I'm there.
Well, this is
Really important to me. This is, excellent opportunity to hang from afar.
Well, we were talking fandom. We were talking the organic birth of the Frost turning a leaf, if you will, but organically from us, the fans, post the historic stepladder match. Joey G painted the picture of that match eloquently from beginning to end. And you could visually see it as Joey G was telling the story.
Oh, yeah.
And it was bringing the little goosey bumps on the hairs of my arm, my man. And we were just getting into the rivalry that Fly Nye and Edger Cash and Backwards Billy have going on. And we go ahead.
Don't you pick on him?
Backwards hat.
I was just wondering for like 15 minutes after trading day, Billy and Fly were just going at it like they just did not stop. It was the training day after Real Recognize Heel. And I think you were still kind of like healing from the mission, because they suck. And but like we were just talking about how Fly and Billy. I don't know. I still have no idea how these two developed such a hatred for each other. It's so crazy.
You know, we tried to get it out of Billy, but it's one of those organic things again, I think, though, because Billy was like, I booed him just like I boo all the other bad guys. And I don't know, you know, it just kind of sort of happened organically. And maybe the title of this damn show should be called Organically, because we've used the word so much just this episode.
Hey, social media is a hell of a drug, brother. All right?
Billy found his version of,
you know.
But really, the guy that has really brought us together as the Frost Force, you have showed up. I gave you the link in case you could make it, and I am so glad to see you do a pop-in. This is absolutely amazing. But you know, since you're here, why don't you give us, from your perspective, because us as fans, we just kind of went through our perspective of how the cold cash was not okay. I knew that in my heart. Not everybody did. I did. But talk to us about that day of the historic stepladder match and when things really turned around for Ryan Frost. Like you said before, I'm the same guy. I just beat up different people.
Yep.
But it really came from us organically. Talk to us about that day, sir.
Okay, well, I mean, as long as I'm not interrupting anybody else, this is y'all's
No, not at all.
No, not at all, dude. Go ahead.
So,
knock it out of the park like a Yankee home run.
Jackie G, come on. I thought we were friends here.
so the
Just say a Red Sox home run. Come on.
but much like the cold cash rivalry with the stepdads, the Yankees and Red Sox rivalry is over. Like, let's leave it. It happened with an encapsulated time, a long time, and a beautiful time that was very entertaining. But it's over, right? Isn't it over?
Oh.
Now it's
I
over,
guess so.
right?
You know what? There we go.
Yeah, that works.
Can you guys?
I don't know. See, that's Sideways Simon for you right there. I'm
Yeah,
telling you, that's Sideways Simon.
we couldn't get in the picture altogether, so I had to turn it sideways.
Hey, I hope it record. I hope Skype makes it like that. That's going to be absolutely beautiful. But before you get into that historic stepladder match, Mr. Frost, I just want you to know, with full disclosure, Jackie G is coming to you live from a bathtub. He's in a bathtub.
Well, I can definitely say that I did not expect that at all. I actually didn't see any of you in a bathtub.
Well,
Maybe
Billy
not
in the room.
yeah,
Oh, God.
I want to make sure you guys can hear me because I got no sold on that Astros comment. I thought everybody hated the Astros.
I'm not a baseball fan, but you know, it is what it is. I'm surprised they didn't grab at it.
That's fine.
I heard the Astros and I'm like, oh God.
Crazy because I had stabbed a lot of people in the back. I had not had my back stabbed yet. So for me, it was a very new experience. And then people cheering for me, even when I was doing everything I could to break every rule I could because I had this big chip on my shoulder and I wanted to be such a badass and I was just trying to ruin everybody's day. There were still some people cheering, you know, because some people like the bad guy. But then when the stepdads made the save and we shook hands and the stepdad squad, which it must be said, they are the stepdad squad before they are the Frost Force. Embracing me and starting those chants. That was literally a life-changing moment for me because all pageantry and entertainment aside, like I've never been embraced by a group like that. You know, performing as an actor, performing as a singer. You know, I've had fans, but I never had anybody like welcome me that hard with that intensity, and only wrestling can give you that. And that's why it's such a unique art form. And that's why these people are such beautiful human beings, because no matter how good I was at anything else, I'm a shit wrestler, and these guys fucking love me regardless.
Yes,
Hey,
we do, Frost. We love you.
I was El Jabroni's #1 fan. I'm not sure where I sit on the fence with that, because he's a different guy nowadays. When you come back from the dead, you're just not the same guy. And these guys earlier were talking about, some of the deceitful things that you have done, but we didn't talk about personally what Ryan Frost has done to my heart, along with TJ Howell, by ripping off the face of my favorite independent wrestler of all time, and the ever of forever, the history of forever, ripped his face literally clean off in front of all of us.
Okay,
What?
please do me the honor of acknowledging how much more than that I've done to El Jabroni. We're talking about cash, and that's cool, because TJ and I ripped his face off. But man, I beat that guy's ass for a year, a straight year.
Solidly, and that's legitimately, boys and girls. Yes, and I don't mean to put the whole heavy about the face on yourself, but the point I'm making is, nowadays, organically, and I usually don't jump on the bandwagons like this. If I don't, if I like to boo a bad guy, I don't care if everybody cheers for a said guy because maybe he's a good guy somewhere else. I don't give a shit. I still boo him. But with Frost, for some reason, after he partook and ripped the face off of my favorite wrestler of all time, I put this guy up there with the Frost Force and many of the other fans that have, again, just kind of little by little, and have come and have gained a gigantic force known as the Frost Force. It started like this, but it has grown and grown and grown, and it hasn't stopped yet, boys and girls. But that was a point I wanted to make personally, because me and Mr. Frost, we never had a really solid relationship. I used to really piss him off. He used to piss me off. His first match ever in front of my eyes was with Dirtbag Dan. Dude, that was not a good day. The old armpit came out, what I like to call chemical warfare. And you liked it. You liked it. But
Funny, okay, come on.
different times. A different time it was. But Simon, as we've been talking, we got Ryan Frost, the guy, the man, the myth, the legend. He's right here in front of us. He came and took some time out of his life to join us, the Frost Force. Do you have anything that you'd like to speak upon with one Ryan Frost? A question or a statement or just anything in general?
Yes, actually, I do have a question, and I thought about this. How does one become a heel and then turn to a face and know how to what do you call it, transition, if you will? What you know how to piss someone off, and then how to gain someone's love afterwards, like after that match.
Excellent question.
Right. So there's the entertainment aspect of what we do, right? Because we are on a stage and we are definitely performing while we are competing, right? And there is a difference between having that swagger and just saying, I will do anything it takes to win. I'll cheat. I'll fight dirty. I will, bend or break the rules. And I am more than willing, and in fact, sometimes happy to do that. That's a different demeanor than, somebody who's going to say, I'm going to prove that I'm the better wrestler and I'm going to adhere to the rules and I want to do it the right way. And the crowd tends to gravitate towards doing it the right way. So when you're talking about a baby or a heel or a good guy or a bad guy or a hero or a villain, you're really talking about, is this person trying to do it the right way, or are they, open to alternative methods of winning? So, I don't think it's as cut and dry as like, hey, you in the front row, you're ugly, I don't think it's as cut and dry as like, I'm going to shake everyone's hand, yeah, you know, because those are, there's like the antiquated, and I don't even mean it in a bad way because everything still works, but there's the way things have been done forever, and we keep doing them that way because they work. But nowadays, people will cheer a villain. I mean, it happens all the time. Actually, it's happened to me when I've been willing to break the rules, and I've been willing to use a weapon, and when I've been willing to cane the shit out of my best friend's wife while she laid her body over his body because I was going to kill him.
Travesty.
there was the time where you know, a very beloved member of a community who, you know, with special needs took advantage of the fact that the Sandman beat my ass. So later on, I put a pretty girl in front of him to distract him and took my championship back.
Scooped him! Scooped him right from behind his back, boys and girls! Scooped him!
Some people might think that's villainous. But when Howell stabs you in the back and pains the shit out of you, and an entire group of people embraces you and tells you that they care about you and they want you to do the right thing and win the right way, you think, maybe, you know what? Maybe I'll just try that. You know, maybe I'll try not caning the shit out of people for no reason. And maybe I'll try not cheating and bending the rules because these guys are supporting me. They make me feel good about myself. Maybe I can win the right way. Maybe I can do the right thing. So that's how the transition happened for me, if that answers your question.
Okay.
It was
That's
you guys.
perfect
It
answer.
was you guys. And I go to promotions where they expect me to just be the bad guy because I'm big and I look mean. You know, honestly, when I walk into the building, I'm not always happy to be there. Sometimes I look like a grunt. Sometimes I worked 14 hours at my regular job the day before, and I drove 2.5 hours to do this booking where I don't even know who I'm fighting, and I don't even know if I want to be there. And the promoter's like, oh man, he looks like a bad guy, you know? And then some crowd sees me and they think, oh, he looks like a bad guy, no matter what my intentions are. But for instance, at RWA in Rhode Island, where I was on Sunday, these folks had never embraced me before, but I went in there against their crooked GM, David Morales, and Danny Adam, who a lot of us know, who has aligned himself with the crooked GM, so the crowd already doesn't like him. And these people who never liked me before, never gave a shit about me, are chanting, Ryan's gonna kill you.
Yes.
And I said, guys, calm down. I'm gonna wrestle him. And they gonna wrestle you. Because they don't know me as Frosty. You guys know me as Frosty. The RWA doesn't know me as Frosty yet, or if they ever will. You know, it is different everywhere you go. And you don't necessarily govern that transition because, like Don Cade said, it happens organically. If you try to, it don't work.
Excellent question. Excellent retort, my friend. This is why we gather like this, especially. These are the special ones, though, boys and girls, when we get the talent to do a pop-in and hang out with us. So we get to have these types of conversations. Backwards Billy, why don't do you have something that you'd like to ask one Ryan Frost over here?
Yes, actually I do. Out of all the things you've done as a heel, is there anything that you did not want to do or that you look back on what you did and you really regret it?
Excellent question.
That is a lovely question.
It is.
In the times that I was more willing to break the rules and do heinous things, I felt like I had to. Like, I felt like there was this chip on my shoulder. I felt like everyone was against me. I felt like, you know, these promoters put me in these situations that I don't want to be in. And I felt like I was a referee. Nobody wanted to give me a chance to wrestle, you know, and I had to like take that on my own and screw El Jabroni Don out of a victory. And, you I didn't have people like y'all in my corner telling me like, no, we believe in you, we support you, we know you can do this. I didn't have that. I had a bunch of people who wanted my spot because I took my own spot, and I had a bunch of people who were jealous because I happen to be big. Like, there's a lot of wrestlers out there who are really freaking good who may never get a spot, or who may not get the spots I had. I'm not saying never going to get a spot, because if you're good and you try hard enough, you're always going to get a spot. But there were people who were jealous because I got my spot so early, because I am big, because I took it through heinous actions and nefarious means, and they really wish I hadn't. They wish I wasn't where I was. And I ain't been anywhere yet, but I'm just saying. It felt like everyone was against me. So I did what I had to do. Like when Scott came up to that promotion, and we were making the music video, and I was fighting with Just Incredible and the Sandman. That's a great time for me. Mm-hmm. But it was because Scott came and wanted to do a music video. I'd known him forever. He's one of my best friends, and he didn't ask me to be in the music video. Gordon in the documentary.
Nice.
Personally. I was pissed. So I did a bunch of shit that I, probably do regret a little, except I don't, because he got notoriety from it. I got more notoriety from it. We created memories that are going to last forever in people's minds. So, like, do I kind of wish I had gone about it a different way? Yeah. If I had asked him if he could put me in the music video, I'll bet you he would have. But I didn't. I was a dick, and I was like, forced my way in. Uh-oh. Did I lose you guys?
No.
We're all.
You're good. And I just kind of want to add to this, because there was a story build up, and at that time I went to Cherry Street Station, a music venue. Oh, there he is. I went to meet one Ryan Frost to kind of chit chat, and there was a one Scotty Anarchy doing the band thing at said venue outside in the parking lot. There was some chit chat, which I thought it was going to be a lot of yelling, okay, first off. But it wasn't. It was kind of really calm. Both guys wanted to bring things to a close from their previous history and life. And then all of a sudden, Ryan Nefarious, Nefarious means he had this snicker about him the whole time, if you will, while they were hugging. And he blindsided Scotty Anarchy, the old stinger in the neck. And if you look back, and I know it was that night, it wasn't the best of footage, it's kind of grainy, but there's a picture that I have put on the face page, and he's smiling and loving every second of it. That was part of the buildup to it. That was heinous enough. But whenever all of this came to head, and that all came to head with that kendo stick, whoo! You should have seen that crowd, Jackie G. Holy shit sticks.
I believe it, and it's gonna make you laugh when I'm about to say this. Like, I always like to sit there and pretend that a world that we hated Ryan Frost in doesn't exist. Because for the I mean, I've been following TOS now since 2020, and obviously there was a brief period where Ryan Frost was obviously with Cold Cash. I keep forgetting about that more because we love Frost more than we hated him. So it's crazy, So it's really crazy, but that's I try to pretend like that doesn't exist, like the Men in Black thing,
That's awesome. Why don't you keep it going, Jackie G? I'm sure you have a question kicking around somewhere for one, Mr. Frosty.
Oh God, I have too many questions. That's my problem, and I wasn't even prepared to know if he was going to start this or not. So, damn. I I think I'm going to go to the one that like the greatest Ryan Frost memory I've got to this, which is ironically not even at a show, which I still to this day still means the world to me. And I remember you. Did we lose you again? Oh no.
No, he's messing around on his phone. I think he'll be back.
I don't want to ask it if he's not here.
Oh, he's black. Can you guys see me though?
No,
we
you
can now.
can't.
We can now. Yes.
Right now, you can see me.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
for a
That's fine.
brief second, we had John Cena in this too as a guest.
I was just about to say that.
No, so obviously, and to this day, it still is one of the most happiest birthdays I've ever went through. Obviously, you and the GM joining us, joining myself, Sideways Simon, Backwards Billy, Kelsey, James, and my awesome niece Dakota with the amazing GM Alex Rojas for my birthday, which was probably still to me the greatest surprise ever that I've ever witnessed on a birthday.
So set that up for us, Jackie G. The fans, because because that was really, really cool how that all came together.
Dude, oh my God, you're not even gonna. So the story is, oh man, this is gonna be awesome. I love telling this story. So it was my birthday. I got asked to babysit my niece Dakota from Kelsey. So the majority of my day, I was just babysitting. Finished that up. We're going out for dinner, and I was just like, yeah, this dinner's gonna be fun, but I was just like, I mean, it's gonna be fun regardless because I got my niece, and everything, and Kelsey and my friends and everything. That was cool. And I remembered specifically, we were going to go to Outback, and then there was a power outage in Poughkeepsie or something, and that ended up screwing that up. And so I just said, you know what, screw it. Let's just go to Applebee's, not that far from your house. Like, I don't want to make you drive all around on my birthday. I already feel guilty enough as it is. And next thing you know, we show up at Applebee's. I got Dakota in my arms. I get out. I exit Kelsey's car with Billy. And I'm just sitting there, and I'm looking up, and I'm just like glimpsing up at the Applebee's, and I see this big dude in the window, and I'm just sitting there. I smack Billy on the shoulder. I'm like, "Yo, Billy, that dude in the window looks a lot like Ryan Frost." And he's like, it's like he could be like a stunt double in a movie for him. Billy mentions to me, and I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, "Yeah, no way." And I'm literally thinking I'm seeing shit here, right? So I keep forgetting I am allowed to curse, right, Don?
Yeah, you're good.
So I got Dakota in one arm. I'm sitting there looking at Billy, walking with Kelsey through. Simon and James aren't that far off. We walk through the doors, and then I see the big bald dude in the corner sitting on the window like this. From you. Processing this because I'm not imagining seeing this. I'm sitting there and I'm like, Jesus Christ, Billy, look, this dude, I swear, looks so much like Ryan Frost, and it's driving me insane because I'm like, I swear to God, we gotta let him know there's like a stunt double or something. Then I spot the I don't know if it was a heel shit or an Ichiban shirt that he was wearing. And
Probably Ichiban.
It's up. I process everything and I'm just like, Frosty! And then Billy looks over and was like, what the? And Billy, I think, said the loudest what the fuck ever in a public place ever. And I'm like, oh my God. He's like, happy birthday. I'm like, what were you doing in Brewster? It doesn't make sense. And he's like, and your first thing he says is like, I think he says something along with, oh, I was invited out for a birthday dinner or something. And I'm like, and I'm looking around and I'm like, who's he going? And I'm not even thinking clearly. I'm like, who's he here to see? And I'm not processing it. And then I see Simon come in with this big shit-eating grin on his face. And I'm like, how? I'm like, how? How did you pull this off? And he's like, happy birthday, man. He gives me this big hug. And I'm like, and I'm just sitting there. And then Frost tells me he's not alone. He had Alex Rojas, the GM, with him. I was like, oh my God. And I'm sitting at the table with Kelsey, with James, with Simon, with Billy. And then Alex comes out the bathroom. And I'm just having this hard time believing all this because, we're sitting at the dinner table at Applebee's. We're in the corner of the Applebee's now, and I've renamed that corner the Frost Force corner now because that table forever has that memory for me. And I'm sitting there and I'm just trying to process everything still because I still sit there and I'm having a hard time believing that this is actually happening. I'm sitting there, I'm on my phone, I'm trying to sneak a snapshot and send to Terry Duffy, and and I figured he wouldn't care if I did either way. And I'm just sitting there looking over at Billy, and I'm just like, yo, is this really happening? I don't believe this is happening. And I'm sitting there the whole time, and we're just sitting there, we're just talking wrestling, Dakota's trying to escape the whole time through the hole in the thing. She's grabbing pieces of my broccoli to eat. And I'm just not focusing as much on my dinner because I'm just still in awe of the whole thing. And I remember Frost even said, I don't know, I remember something you said along the lines of, I'm so excited to be here yourself. And I was just like, dude, like, I'm so excited because I don't even think this is real right now. I'm like, I'm having a hard time processing that the whole time. I was almost in tears because I couldn't even believe, like, the whole time, like, I didn't want the dinner to end ever. I'm sorry to say, I wanted it to go on forever and ever. So, and that is legit the smile I had on my face that day. And I was already satisfied just spending the day with my niece. That was already the highlight of my day. So it's so funny too, because I sat there, I took a photo, I said my birthday's been one to never forget. And it was Dakota passed out in the back seat with her hand in my hand, sleeping. And I thought I thought babysitting Dakota was going to be the highlight of my day. Little did I know it was about to get freaking better. And I didn't even think of it. That was like the greatest surprise in the world. And I still talk about this story. I love telling everybody the story, and I'm texting people. I'm like, "How is this happening right now?" And I'm tongue tied because I love that memory.
Couple things, Jackie G. Thank you so much for giving us that story, because wrestling doesn't happen like that for everybody. Okay, there is an invisible line between athlete and fan. But sometimes, and I've said it myself, I get the privilege and the honor to go beyond that invisible line, make friendships, make relationships, make memories outside of the ring. Okay. This is something that will last. You will tell your children, and your children will probably tell you their children and such, because now, Ryan Frost, let's put this in perspective for what it really is. And I know you think you're just some bum wrestler on the independent scene, and this guy is going to have a memory, again, that will pass down. I'm telling you, this is going to be passed down in his family for generations. I'm telling you. It's like meeting a person that's very starstruck with a movie actor or a rock star or an athlete. This is the personification of a fan that sees somebody that's always on TV, somebody that's always on the national level, that's in their face, that sees their brand on a constant week to week or month to month basis. This is exactly this. And for you to even partake into something like this, to really make it special. And I hope you realize, because of especially the way Joey G, and I know the day of, you knew it was special, but just the way Joey G tells us and his expressions and how excited he is to this day to speak on that story. You did something so beyond what you ever had to do. And it's one of those good human things that we talk about. You're just one of those good guys, Ryan. Can you kind of continue the conversation about that day and how it made you feel on the opposite end of the spectrum? Because we always talk from the fans' view. Could you kind of talk to us about that day and the flip side of that for you personally?
Well, I thought I was coming out here to put them over. I don't know. And you might not even believe this because it doesn't happen very often. I am a little speechless. Like, that's like a lot. It truly was for me. I thought I was the one, like, indulging in the experience, because I was like, wow, somebody wants to have dinner with me. That's wild, So it was. I thought I was getting the bigger end of it. I knew it was a surprise for Joey, and I knew it was going to be fun, like kind of like a moment. But I kind of thought the moment would be as much, if not more, for me, because I'm like, wow, somebody wants, their birthday dinner with this wrestler, and I'm that wrestler. Like, holy shit, that's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I thought I was the one being ribbed, or I thought I was the one getting like all the accolades and shit. But really, I mean, I was trying to come on here and tell you guys how much I appreciate you, and then you go and say all that, and that's exactly what I'm thanking you for. That's what I'm thanking you for. Is that, like, I'm not supposed to say that I'm not anybody special, but like I'm really not. I'm just me. But it means a lot to me that it means that much to you, Joey, and to Simon and Billy and everybody, and Kelsey and Dakota, and I don't think 3 generations from now they're going to be like, oh, great grandpa Joey went to Applebee's.
Yes, they will.
Okay, but it's really. I hate that I'm speechless because I wish I had a really good verbose response, because normally
That's okay.
But
Sorry.
it definitely, hope you understand that it means as much to me as it does to you. That's fucking awesome. That I got to create a day for you like that, because you deserve it. I'm glad that you had it.
I appreciate that 1000%, And like I said, the best part about it is like it always, to me, is it's still been my cover photo on Facebook ever since, like since that day. Like, it's been so special, that photo, for me especially. And I think the funniest part about the fact is that my niece is almost impossible to sit still when it comes to photos. She turned her head at the perfect time. That's what made that photo so perfect. So, because you got Frost all the way in the left corner, you got GM right next to him. You got me, Kelsey with Dakota, Simon, Billy, and James, and it was just such an amazing. Like, that just capped off the perfect like birthday for me on everything. And the funny story about that dinner that still cracks me up to this point. And I know this, and this is one of the most awesomest dinners in the world. Was we go to the dinner, and I know, and GM comes in with a Frost Force shirt. Frosty comes in with an Ichiban shirt on, I think, or a heel ship one. I'm not exactly 100%. Simon's wearing a TOS shirt. I've got a stepdad shirt on, like, just because I had no idea this was even going to happen. I love that the TM busts on Billy for wearing a Northeast Wrestling shirt on. And then Billy's like, come on, I didn't know this was going to happen.
I really did. I really did. And yeah, when this guy keeps a secret, he keeps a secret. Let me tell you.
Oh yeah.
Told James, like, he only told James you were driving Kelsey nuts to the point where she was getting mad at you the whole day, because she's like, what the whole big deal is about this. It's like all over a Taco Bell gift card. That's what he's being so quiet about today.
Yeah, I handed Joe a Taco Bell gift card, and he's like, "That's predictable." You know, with that look.
I've got this like really, really great gift for you, and then he hands me a Taco Bell gift card, and I'm just like, and it's like, thanks. I'm grateful, but it's like, come on, man. Like, you act like I've never gotten a Taco Bell gift card on it before. I mean, unless it has like $500 on it,
Yeah.
I didn't know what was to come. And then he said there was like a second part of the gift, and I'm just like, well, where is it? I'm like, oh, it's on its way. And I'm just sitting there. I'm like, it's on its way. You didn't use like next day delivery or something? Like, what
You having an Amazon Prime to Applebee's?
what are you getting, like freaking Uber Eats at Amazon at Applebee's? Like, are you Uber eating a bloomin' onion to come over to Applebee's from out?
I have one topic before we leave, and because we've had such a fine conversation, we could go on and on. But I do have one topic, and it's very recent. But before we do that, Simon, we applaud you for pulling off all of what you did for Jackie G. That was absolutely heartwarming, and that was great stuff for a birthday present. You're the man.
Thank you. And I'm sure I'm as humble as Frost for doing it, and to be part of that memory that we'll cherish forever.
Love those times. We talk about memories at the events and at the shows that we take away with us, and we may talk about on the drive home, and we may talk about a month down the road or whatever. This is one that's not at an event. It's outside the ring. It's in your personal life, and it makes it that much more special. I think that's what really,
Yes.
really kind of makes that connection, because it's outside of the ring and it's during your personal time. I find that story absolutely loving. I love all of that story. You guys are amazing for that. Now,
And I have
since
something I like to add to that story
please,
for
Billy.
me as well.
Yes.
Because my birthday is before Joe's, and at the time I was recovering from a hand injury, and unfortunately I did not get to celebrate my birthday because of the hand injury. So
I had to get out of the tub now.
well,
So,
and don't worry, I just turned on some cold water, dude.
My foot just fell asleep. I was like, no feeling left. I'm like, I gotta get out of there.
Yeah. And as I was saying, I feel I also looked at it as me and Joe celebrating our birthdays together, because like I said, I didn't get to celebrate my birthday, but but at the same time, it felt like it felt good to be there with Ryan Frost and just all my friends around too, and it's like I cannot believe I'm a part of this. I the word. I just have no words for it. It was just such a good experience for me too. Yeah, because I always wanted to have dinner with someone I look up to, and I'm glad that first experience is with Ryan Frost.
Oh, look at the stories, Frosty. Look at the stories.
Shut up.
I hate to bring this, I hate to rain on this parade of all of this love, but I have to bring it up. We were all there. If I'm not mistaken, Simon, you were there as well at Lone Survivor, if I'm not mistaken, yes?
No, I was not.
You weren't at Lone Survivor? I just got a
No.
mush of a brain. That's my bad. I apologize.
I'll be right back.
That's okay.
But on Lone Survivor, let's see, 1, 2, 3, subtract 7, multiply by 12, divide by 4.
I'm looking like I'm getting dizzy. I'm trying to get my foot back up and running after sitting in the tub.
I believe it was Lone Survivor 4 we were at, correct, my friend, that this happened?
Yes.
Okay. Again, I got a mushy brain up here. Lone Survivor 4, it was finally someone took out Marcos as the test of strength champion. Oh my God, was that amazing for all of us as the fans. The era of Marcos, magnificent Marcos, with that dishonest Abe and that stupid ass Kane was finally over, because Slick Wagner Brown is now the current test of strength champ, big champ, heavyweight champ. And we celebrated like a sumbitch. We celebrated along with one Measy, Ryan Frost's right-hand man, along with Ryan Frost, along with the GMX, Alex Rojas, all 4 of them inside the ring celebrating this beautiful win of Slick Wagner Brown taking down Marcos after so long, celebrating, hands in the air. Little something happens out of nowhere. Slick Wagner Brown cocks back and clotheslines Frosty. We thought he took his head off, but his head was still attached on the mat. The crowd went very hush for probably, I don't know, a couple seconds. It might have felt like about an hour. And then Measy, who's holding the kendo stick that is Ryan Frost, because that's kind of one of his little things nowadays. It's been for a minute with the kendo stick. Big Measy gives this thing to Slick Wagner Brown. And what ensues after that, and I've said it to my dad, I've said it to my family here at the homestead, it pained my heart to see this shit go down. Now, we watched Ryan Frost get beaten by Slick Wagner Brown with this stick over 20 times, easily, because he started with a barrage. And then one of the fans was talking shit to Slick Wagner Brown, and he goes, every time you keep it going, I'm going to whoop him. She kept it going. He kept whipping Ryan Frost. So I kind of painted that picture. I'm going to start with you, Billy, because I know you were there specifically live at that show. Tell us what your thoughts were about what the hell just culminated right there.
I was like, what the hell am I looking at right now? I mean, my jaw was dropped for a good few minutes, and I just thought I was going crazy or something, and I'm like, am I really watching this right now? It's like what the hell?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm also thinking, why Flip? Why?
Yes.
It's like, what in the world could have caused him to do that, and to also have Measy turn out Frost too?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what the hell is that? Yeah, is this all one big cult or something like now? A cult to cult to be against Frost? If that's the case, I'm not having it. I am not having it. Heck with that.
Sideways Simon, you weren't there, but I know you've seen the footage, you've heard the stories, you know what the hell is going on right now. Could you give us some thoughts about what culminated at Lone Survivor 4?
Well, when I found this out, I was kind of speechless. I thought maybe this might be a turnaround for Frost as going back to heel,
Oh,
trying to get him to back his old ways
okay.
is what
To get
I
that
thought.
to get that championship away from one Slick Wagner Brown, the newly crowned champion.
Correct.
Okay. That
But
you know what? That kind of makes some sense, and we've been giving some Frosty some love, but you
yeah.
never know. You never know. Go ahead. I'm sorry, sir.
Oh no, that's okay. Yeah, I was really, really shocked that he did that, Slick.
Mm-hmm.
And then, what was it? You said someone came out after that, or to help, or no?
No,
Yeah,
Big Measy was in there with a kendo stick and just handed it to Slick and beat the piss out of him. And then Slick yelled at him how he's got no friends and he's got no friends and he's got no friends and on and on. So yeah, it culminated in something. And Joey G can finish us off over there.
Uh,
Joey G, you were there live. You've seen all sorts of stuff. Ryan Frost, we lift them up. We've seen everything going on with Marcos and Dishonest Abe. Again, storytelling. Here we are, test of strength. Slick wins, clotheslines Frost, Measy with the kendo, Slick with the kendo, and holy shit. Now, tell us what your thoughts are, what you saw in front of you. And then he kept yelling, "You've got no friends," and tell us who came out.
So obviously, and I was there live. I'm sitting and watching everything. We're excited that SWB wins the title. Finally, lets Marcos know his time is up. Next thing you know, oh, a clothesline out of nowhere, and I'm just like speechless. I don't get what's going on. I'm processing. I'm just looking at Billy. I'm like, dude, what just happened? I'm looking over at Squicky and Sal and the rest of the Frost Force, and I'm hearing Foggy being like, wait, what? And then like you're running around, Don. Next thing I know, he grabs it. I'm looking at Meezy, and I'm like, yo, Meezy, what are you doing? That's your boy. And then he hands him the kendo stick, and my hands just go on my head like this, because at this point I'm just like, oh no, come on. And they're just beating the crap out of Frost, and this is like freaking destroying me for one. And I'm just like, what is wrong with you, Slick? Like, what are you doing? And at that point, the crowd broke into a "Why Slick, why" chant. SWB gets on the mic, starts telling him you got no friends. Ichiban tries to run in and help, and then he gets the crap kicked out of him. Kylon King tries to run up, and then he gets the crap kicked out of him. And, it's just like I am so disgusted with Slick Wagner Brown after that, because for about a year and a half, we were like having to sit there and digest Marcos as this champion. You had to have him be followed around by that bald green vomit wearing named Dishonest Abe, and it was just so. There are times I'm just sitting there, I'm just like, oh, and somebody whoop his ass. And I thought finally we got some revenge for the Waterbury screw job. Finally, it wasn't obviously Frost taking the title, but like finally somebody got the belt off Marcos in the same spot that he screwed Frost out of. And then SWB, the Underground King, goes and beats the crap out of Frost. Like, he's sitting there saying these people are going to get you killed and all that other things. And I'm just, if you could hear me in the background, I'm screaming stop from the bottom of my lungs, like almost in tears. Like, what is going on? And like, poor Joshy saw me from across the other side with my hands, like trying to bury my head, not like at every kendo stick side. I'm like, put my head because I can't watch it. It was just driving me insane. I almost wanted to jump in myself and like tackle SWB down, but I didn't want a kendo stick shot in the back. Sorry.
Well, thank you, all three of you, for sharing your thoughts on this specific. Never mind everything we've talked about, but this subject specifically, because we are in a recent. This is happening now in the present time, with the culmination of Slick Wagner Brown versus Ryan Frost for the TOS Championship. Not this upcoming event, because that's Training Day 39, but we have Dear Norma coming up. I believe that's 1, 2, 3. That's Dear Norma 3 coming up in May. Frosty, can you just bring us to a tail end of this Frost Force STP? And again, thank you for spending the time and taking the time out to listening to the stories of what the fans, how they really feel, and their emotions and everything that goes on in wrestling and outside of the ring, that you have touched them in special ways. And I appreciate you, every boys and girls, one of the good ones right here. But tell us, because you just heard our feelings about what the hell happened at Lone Survivor 4. You don't have to go too deep. You don't have to go too detailed. But how are you feeling walking out of this Lone Survivor and walking in to Dear Norma 3 against Slick Wagner Brown, and Big Meezy's going to be by his damn side?
I want to say that the Frost Force, you individuals and the ones who aren't on this call, all of you guys and ladies and everybody, it's not even just my wrestling career, it's my entire performance career that started when I was in like junior high. Like, it's everything. I've never had people, including my friends, family, like, this is not a slight against anyone else. I just haven't had anyone who was so devoted to supporting me, and that means the absolute world to me. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. That is the God's honest truth. I mean, I don't know if this is the exact topic to close the show on, Kincaid, because I'm not prepared to address all of that. Like, I'm not ready to talk about all that. If I was, I would have.
Oh, okay.
That's no slight against you, who are also one of my most ardent supporters. And like everyone in the Frost Force, I consider you all super close friends. I don't want to send them home unhappy right now, but my mentor, I gave 5 years of my life to Test of Strength, and then that's what I got. You know what I mean? So I don't have much to say about that.
Hey,
I'm gonna send them home happy. I'm gonna end it on a high note, and I'm gonna say that and I may have to say this again in front of an audience at some point, but I do have to say that I've performed principal roles in Shakespeare on 3 continents, and I've sang in front of thousands of people where they were cheering so loud that I couldn't even hear the drummer behind me. I'm not trying to boast. I'm trying to say that, like, I've done some
perspective,
and nothing compares to the Frost Force chanting my name. Nothing at all. Not a thing. Not a single goddamn thing. Thank you guys for giving the one thing that brings my life meaning at this moment, all of the meaning.
Well, I want to say more or less, I know we go back and forth on this on who's not worthy of who on Facebook, but I gotta say, like, honest to God, from the bottom of my heart and my, my crew of friends, I can speak even for the ones that aren't here. We could be having some of the worst weekends of our own personal lives going on outside of wrestling. Like, I could be legit having like one of the most worst weeks in the world at work, or I'm dealing with crap at home in my personal life, and it's just it'll suck just to be making that drive. And I think I've said this before on Kincaid's Files. I like the 2 hour, like the 2 or 3 or 4 hours, however long any show is, especially the ones with TOS and 2TW, weaving with these memories that you guys create, especially you, Ryan. Still to this day, if it can help us get through one, like just for a few hours, forget about all the BS we're dealing with outside of wrestling, like when it comes to real world stuff, real life stuff, or whatever. Like, it's still it's one of the greatest feelings in the world to sit there in a chair, chanting your lungs out, screaming your lungs out before leaving and sounding like Steve-O from Jackass. And it forever means the world to us to just come out and support you every time. And we're just going to keep doing it as long as you're still out there. We'll still even be there. We'll be going for a long ass time. That's not even a doubt in my mind. We'll be there at TOS as long as it's within the Connecticut area.
That's where you live.
Yes.
He finally admits it.
Fun fact, what people don't know, I live up at the dojo. No. No, but seriously speaking, yes, we will always be supporting you, and we'll always be supporting TOS. And I don't think it's gonna be really hard to like not like it. It's hard for me to want to like not go to a show, like out there be weeks. Like I don't want to like there. I had 1 week where I almost didn't want to even go at all, and I got convinced by Billy. Come on, man, we already bought the tickets. Let's go. And I was dealing with some personal stuff, and he got me to go out. And then I remembered this. There's a reason why I'm going. And
Sometimes I don't want to go, dude, and I'm there. You know what I mean?
I hear you.
I want to make sure you know also I only have 5% on my phone. If the battery dies, I'm not hanging up on you.
We understand.
No, that's okay. We've had stories, we've had emotion, we were talking a little history, and to where we are in the present day. We have talked a whole lot of Frosty, and the friendship and what the relationship that you have made along with the Frost Force and and others outside of the Frost Force. And we just came here to celebrate you a little bit, my man. And we are so tickled that you came and joined us. We are so thankful and ecstatic that you showed up, my man. We appreciate you. Boys, we've had a fine hour and a half of Frost Force talk. We didn't talk about anything else but Frost Force.
What is there to talk about, right?
Guys, thank you for opening up and sharing stories personally, because again, that's what we like to do on STP. Pull it back a little bit and tell some cool stories. And we had a lot of love on this show. And I cannot thank all of you for showing up tonight and taking some time out of your lives and your busy schedule and what you have going on to sit here and talk obviously with us and have this cool conversation, but to be able to talk to the fans and, for the ones that don't know of Ryan Frost, get that name out there a little bit. And the ones that do know him may have just known him a little bit more that they never knew outside of the ring. And that's why we like to tell these stories. You guys have been amazing, and I can't thank you enough. So I'll thank you all collectively right now. Thank you so much for taking the time tonight.
And Don,
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us, dude.
And as I've said it in the past, again, this is what I've been looking forward to all day from the moment I woke up today, is doing this. I always have fun doing these, man. I really do. So
I appreciate that, my friend. We had a blast today, and you never know. Maybe next time we'll have one, and we'll see where Frosty's at. You never know. This is Stir in the Pot with Don Kincaid and my very special guests, the Frost Force, Sideways Simon, Backwards Billy, Jackie G, and the man himself, Ryan Bleepin' Frost. Are you kidding me? Thank you, guys.
thank you.